Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, Timber Time Outdoors. In this video, we're going to talk about our spring food plots, what we did last year, and the changes we're going to make for this year. So stay with us, guys, and remember, everybody,
keep it in the timber.
Hey now, take a step outside and seize the day now.
All right, guys, let's get to it. We're going to talk through a few things here. We'll show you some of the footage of planting today. That'll be a little later. But let's kind of cover a few things. So we're going to talk about what we did last year, and then we're going to talk about some of the changes. And before we do that, you know, planting day takes a lot of work. Those of you guys that do food plots, you know it's a lot of work. You need a lot of guys. There are 6 guys at our hunting party. I don't know. Shame. Okay, so anyways, let's get right into it. Let's talk about what we did last year, all right? So last year, Aaron, you know, you're kind of the guy who does all the planning. I just drive the tractor and Lars loads all the seed, right? So what did we do last year in terms of a cover crop?
So last year we just did buckwheat, you know, a monoculture of buckwheat, you know, and it worked. I mean, it definitely did work. But there's some things you can do better for the soil, planting a blend. And we'll talk about what that is a little bit, but we're going to go away from just a monoculture. Now there is buckwheat in this cover crop we're going to do, but there's also some other things that are just a little bit better for the soil. So we got a crimper this year, so this is the main reason we're making these changes.
Yeah, so last year, I mean, what I remember seeing about that buckwheat was certain areas it grew really well, but where it got a lot of sun, it didn't do so well. So that was buckwheat. We're going to move away from buckwheat a little bit this year. Let's talk about, you know, what was the main food source. So we had 2 things going, right? We had our fenced in soybeans and corn, and we're going to do that again, except we're not going to do corn this year. He and I have a little bet going on corn. Anyway, we won't get into that, but talk a little bit about, you know, we used smorgasbord, right? So Eagle Seed, we follow Growing Deer TV and Dr. Grant.
Yeah, so basically, you know, now that we have, you know, the fall food plot, we come back August 1st. We always come back and we planted the Eagle Seed smorgasbord. And, you know, I was going to do that again, but when I was talking to Dr. Grant Woods, you know, at Growing Deer TV, you know, they got a new, I guess, seed company that they've partnered with called Green Cover Seed. And we started talking a little bit about their summer release blend that we were going to use for this cover crop. Well, then they started talking about their fall blend that's very similar to the smorgasbord, but it's got a few different things. So I thought, well, since we got the crimper, we got all this stuff, you know, Dr. Woods, you know, he has not led us astray yet. So we decided to go with, you know, the summer blend, and then we'll come back in August with the fall blend. It's very similar to the Eagle Seed smorgasbord, but it's got some differences. So
yeah, I'm a big fan of Dr. Grant. However, when you shoot 2 big bucks, I mean, we haven't done that ever. Okay, so we got 2 big bucks last year using the smorgasbord. I'm a fan of the product, and I'm also a fan of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. However, Dr. Grant is usually right. So we're gonna do his stuff, and so let's talk through what we're doing this year. So down in front of us is some of the products. So one of the things we're doing differently is fertilizer, right? So,
and that's
yeah.
That's kind of by accident. So because of all the things that are going on, the fertilizer company up the road. So we did soil samples, and we needed some lime and some fertilizer and things, and they couldn't get it. Basically, the pellet lime is all out, and so we had to adjust. So we've got a product. I think it's made by Buck Bribe. I think or maybe that's the company. Ground Zero is the product, I think, and it's basically a liquid fertilizer, but it's a calcium product that's supposed to work a lot like lime does. So we're going to give it a try. We don't really have any choice, so yeah. We're going to give it a go.
So you basically spray it like Roundup. So we'll show you some video of that. So that's our fertilizer for this year. I know you guys tease us about, you know, spraying Roundup. No Roundup this year, nothing. So So that's good. We got the crimper. Let's talk a little bit about the crimper. So we got that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, we picked it up and it's sitting over there. I don't have it. I'll probably get a video of it here, but yeah, I mean, it basically what it does is it's got little wavy things that cut through the product, and they basically cut the circulatory source of the whatever you have growing out there and kills it. And so it works like a slow release fertilizer as it decays, right? And we plant with our no-till planter right through, and then we come back and we crimp right over the top, keeps moisture in, and should help us.
Yeah, so we got some really good rye. Kind of overlay some video of the rye this year. What happens to us in the past? So we've done rye before, and we had good crops. We spray it with the Roundup, and it kind of shrivels up, and you don't get that kind of effect that you're after. So we're hoping the crimper is going to save that. So no Roundup. We've got the crimper. Let's talk a little bit about the new cover crop. So this is Dr. Grant's new blend.
Yeah, and so it's getting. I don't have exactly what's in it, but it's called the Summer Release. It's made by Green Cover Seed, and it actually has some soybeans in it. It has buckwheat in it, and I think it's got sun hemp and just some other stuff. And the reason that they're doing it is, instead of having a monoculture, one product as your cover crop, there's a lot of different stuff going to work here. And so when we crimp that over, when we plant in the fall, all that stuff should help release stuff back into the soil, fixing nitrogen and all the different stuff. So
yeah, we used a product years ago. This is like our 12th year of doing food plots. We've made a lot of mistakes, but I remember we used something called Power Plant, and I think this is a lot like that. It had some really tall, like sunflower seeds in it. It gets super thick, and so we're just gonna let that grow, let the deer eat it, and then we're gonna run it over with the crimper.
And we only have a 60-day growing period. We're planting today is May 30th,
Yep.
I think, if I looked at the date. And we only, we crimp this and we plant August 1st, so it's 60 days. And talking to the company, they think that's about perfect for just having something growing as a cover crop, and then we'll terminate it with the crimper.
Yep.
So that's all it is.
And then we've got our soybeans again, right? So what blend is this soybeans?
So this is the Generation 2, I believe. It's the Northern blend, and by Real World Seeds, and
Yeah.
we've had good success with them.
Yeah,
so.
pretty solid. It's got the big buck on the bag, so you know it works, right? But we fence it in. We have to fence it in. I'll show some video of that too. It's impossible to grow soybeans here without an electric fence, so we do that. And then lastly, let's just talk about the new fall blend. Okay, so that's we'll plant that in August.
Yep, and the fall blend, it's basically, you can look up the seed mixture, but it's basically got cereal grains, so it's got rye, winter wheat. I think there's some oats in there as well, and that's the kind of the grains. And there's different annual clovers in there. And there's 3 different blends of annual clovers, and then it has some brassicas in it, like turnips and just different blends. And I'm not exactly sure what's in it, to be quite honest. We can show you the label, in the video or something. But basically, that's what it is. You want your brassicas, you want your clovers, and you want your cereal grains, all 3. Now, brassicas, I know the difference between this and the smorgasbord is that this has less brassicas in it, and I think the on purpose, because I think that really competes with some of the other stuff.
Okay.
So I think that's why this has a little bit less. But we'll just have to see how it goes. There's some other things in there that I think that the smorgasbord didn't have, but then it took, it's just a mixture. So
one of the things I was kind of worried about when you read the bag is it doesn't have as much rye, and the rye it's not important for the hunting. It's important for now, right? So you need that rye to start shooting up, and here we get so much browse, we need a lot of rye. So hopefully that'll work.
Yeah, hopefully it'll work. But I think that, what we end up doing, and that's another thing that we can talk about later. But we end up coming in after we plant in August. We do come back and we hand sprinkle rye over the top to give it another little boost. So I think that will help. But we'll just have to see how this goes. It's every year's a little bit different. Hopefully someday we'll settle in on something. But it seems like we change it up a little bit every year. So.
Yeah. So I got my buck last year. He got his buck. This is your year, right? His nickname is the Pickle. This is the year of the Pickle. All right, guys, enough talking. Let's get to it. right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for our spring food plots. 2021, we've got soybeans and we've got our cover crop in. Hopefully things will go well. We'll come back in about a week and crimp everything. So things are looking good here at the deer farm. If you like this video, please hit that like button. Really helps out the channel. If you want to subscribe, you know how to do that as well. So hey, send this to your friends. You got some hunting buddies. Remember, guys, keep it in the timber. See you later. Bye-bye.